The cargo ship shuddered as it docked at Station Vel 9. Daewon turned off the engines and rubbed his tired eyes. 3 days of flying through empty space had worn him down. The meteor strike 2 weeks ago had damaged his ship badly. Now he needed repairs before he could continue his work. He grabbed his jacket and walked down the ramp. The station smelled bad, very bad. It was a mix of unwashed bodies, rotting food, and something else he could not name. The lights flickered overhead. Half of them were broken. Water dripped from somewhere above, making puddles on the metal floor. Daewon had been to many stations in his 10 years as a cargo hauler. This one was the worst he had ever seen. People crowded everywhere. But they were not human people. They were aliens. The Veltari refugees filled every corner of the station. They had blue skin that glowed slightly in the dim light. They had 4 arms instead of 2. Their eyes were large and dark. Children sat on the floor, their faces thin and hungry. Mothers held babies close to their chests. Old ones leaned against walls, too weak to stand for long. Everyone looked tired. Everyone looked scared. Daewon knew why they were here. 6 months ago, the Kryn Empire had invaded the Veltari homeworld. The war lasted only 3 weeks. The Veltari lost everything. Their planet was destroyed. Millions died. The survivors became refugees with nowhere to go. No planet would take them. The Kryn Empire was too powerful, too dangerous. Any world that helped the Veltari would become the next target. So the refugees gathered here at stations like this one. Forgotten. Dying slowly. Daewon walked toward the repair bay. He needed to find someone to fix his ship. A Veltari child ran past him, chasing something. The child was so thin that Daewon could see his ribs through his shirt. The boy could not be more than 6 years old. "Watch where you are going," a station guard shouted at the child. The guard was a Kryn soldier, big and mean-looking. He kicked at the boy, but the child dodged and ran away. Daewon felt anger rise in his chest, but he said nothing. Starting a fight would not help anyone. He found the repair bay after asking for directions twice. The mechanic was a grumpy old alien with 6 tentacles. He looked at Daewon's ship data and shook his head. 2 days minimum, the mechanic said. Maybe 3. I have many ships waiting. How much will it cost? Daewon asked. The mechanic named a price. It was high but fair. Daewon agreed and paid half up front. The mechanic said he would start work tomorrow morning. With nothing else to do, Daewon walked around the station. He wanted to find something to eat and a place to sleep. The station had one small restaurant. The food looked old and the prices were crazy high. He bought a simple meal anyway. It tasted like cardboard. As he ate, he watched the refugees. A Veltari woman begged the restaurant owner for scraps. The owner shouted at her and threw her out. She left quietly, her head down in shame. 2 Kryn guards laughed at something. They were drinking and enjoying themselves while refugees starved around them. Daewon felt sick watching them. After eating, he went back to his ship. He would sleep there instead of paying for a station room. At least his ship was clean and safe. As he walked down the corridor toward the docking bay, someone called out to him. "Please, human, please wait." Daewon turned around. A Veltari woman stood a few meters away. She was thin like all the others. Her blue skin had lost some of its glow. Her 4 arms hung at her sides, but her eyes were clear and desperate. Behind her stood 2 small children. A girl who looked about 8 years old, a boy who looked about 5. They both hid behind their mother, peeking out at Daewon with scared faces. "Yes?" Daewon said. He tried to sound gentle. The woman walked closer. She moved slowly, carefully, like someone who had not eaten well in a long time. When she was close enough to speak quietly, she stopped. "My name is Hyelen," she said. Her voice shook slightly. "These are my children, Nari and Taeyang." Daewon nodded. "I am Daewon. What do you need?" Hyelen took a deep breath. Her hands trembled. She looked at her children, then back at Daewon. "I know humans are good people, kind people. I have heard stories." She paused. I need help. We need help. I do not have much money, Daewon said, but I can buy you a meal. No, Hylan interrupted. She closed her eyes for a moment. I need more than a meal. I am asking. She could not finish. The little girl, Nari, stepped forward. She was braver than her mother. We are going to die here, she said simply. The station will throw us out in 5 days. We have no money, no food, nowhere to go. Daewon felt his heart break. The girl spoke with such calm certainty, like she had accepted death already. What do you want me to do? He asked, even though he was afraid of the answer. Hylan opened her eyes. She looked directly at Daewon. Take us with you. Please take us away from here. I cannot just... I will be your wife, Hylan said quickly. The words rushed out like water from a broken dam. I will serve you, cook for you, clean for you. Whatever you need, I will do it. Just please take us with you. My children are good children. They are smart. They will not cause trouble. They eat very little. They are quiet. Please, please, human. Daewon stood frozen. He did not know what to say. This woman was offering herself as a wife? As a servant? Just to survive? I do not want a wife, he said finally. I do not want servants. Hylan's face crumbled. Hope died in her eyes. Please, she whispered. I am begging you. I know humans do not like Veltari. I know we are worthless to you, but my children, they deserve to live. Please, I will do anything. No, you do not understand, Daewon started. But Hylan collapsed. Her legs gave out and she fell to the floor. The children screamed. Mama! Mama! The little boy Taeyang threw himself on his mother. The girl Nari looked up at Daewon with terror in her eyes. Help her, please help her. Daewon dropped to his knees. He checked Hylan's pulse. It was weak, but there, she had fainted, probably from hunger and exhaustion. Other aliens walked past them. Nobody stopped, nobody helped. They had their own problems. Daewon looked at the two children. They stared back at him with huge, scared eyes, waiting, hoping, knowing that he was their last chance. He made a decision. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe it would cause problems. But he could not walk away. All right, he said to the children. I will help. Let me get your mother to my ship. The girl, Nari, started crying. Not from sadness, from relief. The boy grabbed Daewon's hand with his small, 3-fingered grip. Daewon lifted Hylan carefully. She weighed almost nothing. He carried her toward his ship while the children followed close behind. He did not know what he was doing. He did not know if this was right. But he knew one thing for certain. He could not let them die. Daewon laid Hylan on the small bed in his ship's medical room. The children stood in the doorway watching everything he did. Their eyes followed his every movement. Is Mama going to die? The little boy Taeyang asked. His voice was so quiet that Daewon almost did not hear him. No, Daewon said firmly. He hoped he was right. She just needs food and rest. He pulled out the medical scanner and ran it over Hylan's body. The results made him angry. She was severely malnourished, dehydrated. Her body was eating itself to survive. She probably had not had a real meal in weeks. When did your mother last eat? Daewon asked the children. The girl, Nari, thought for a moment. 4 days ago. A refugee gave us half a ration bar. Mama made us eat it all. She said she was not hungry 4 days. No wonder she collapsed. Daewon went to the ship's small kitchen. He found a nutrition pack and mixed it with water. It was designed for humans, but it would work for Veltari too. Most carbon-based species could digest human food. He brought the mixture back to the medical room. Helen was waking up. She opened her eyes slowly. Where am I? She whispered. My ship, Daewon said. You fainted. You need to drink this. He helped her sit up and held the cup to her lips. She drank slowly at first, then faster. When the cup was empty, she looked at him with confusion. Why did you help me? I thought you said no. I said I did not want a wife or servants, Daewon corrected her. I never said I would not help you. Hylan stared at him. She did not understand. But why? What do you want from me? Nothing. I just want you to get better. That makes no sense, Hyland said. Her voice was stronger now. Everyone wants something. Nothing is free. Daewon sat down on the chair next to the bed. He was tired. Tired of seeing suffering. Tired of people who had given up on kindness. Tell me your story, he said. How did you end up here? Hyland looked at her children. They came closer and sat on the bed next to her. She put 2 of her 4 arms around them and held them close. My husband's name was Minho, she began. He was a scientist. He studied plants and how to grow food in difficult places. When the Kryn Empire attacked our world, they targeted scientists first. They did not want us to rebuild. They did not want us to resist. Her voice shook, but she kept talking. Soldiers came to our home. Minho told me to take the children and run. He stayed behind to give us time to escape. I heard the gunshots as we ran away. I knew he was dead, but I could not stop. I could not go back. The children needed me. Nari pressed her face against her mother's side. Taeyang was crying silently. We got on an evacuation ship, Hyland continued. There were thousands of us. The ship was meant for 200 people, but they packed in everyone they could. Many died during the journey. Not enough air. Not enough food. Bodies were pushed out into space to make room for the living. Daewon felt sick. He had heard stories about the refugee ships. He had hoped they were exaggerated. Apparently, they were not. We arrived at this station 3 months ago, Hyland said. The station master said we could stay if we paid rent. But how could we pay? We had nothing. I tried to find work, but nobody would hire a Veltari. The Kryn Empire had sent messages to all stations. Anyone who helped us would be punished. So what did you do? Daewon asked. We survived. Other refugees shared what little they had. I begged for scraps. I sold everything we owned. Our clothes, my wedding ring, everything, but it was never enough. Every day more refugees died. From starvation, from disease, from giving up hope. She looked directly at Daewon now. Her eyes were fierce despite her weakness. That is why I offered to be your wife. Not because I wanted to, but because I will do anything to save my children. If selling myself is what it takes, then I will do it. I have no pride left. I have no dignity left. I only have my children, and they deserve to live. The room was silent for a long moment. Daewon did not know what to say. How could he judge this woman? She was doing what any mother would do. I understand, he said finally. But you need to understand something too. I am not going to take you as my wife because you are desperate. That is not right. That is not fair to you. Fair? Hyland laughed bitterly. Nothing is fair. Fair is a luxury for people who have food in their bellies. Maybe, Daewon said. But I still will not do it. However, he paused. I will take you and your children with me. As refugees. As people I am helping. Not as servants or family or anything else. Just as people who need help. Hyland shook her head. You do not understand. If there is no contract, no bond, you can abandon us at any station. You can leave us wherever you want. We will have no protection. No rights. I will not abandon you, Daewon said. You say that now. But what if you change your mind? What if you get tired of us? What if we are too much trouble? Nari spoke up then. Mama, I think he is telling the truth. Humans are different. Teacher Sora told us about them before. Before everything happened, she said humans help people even when it does not benefit them. She said it is part of their nature. Your teacher was telling you fairy tales, Hyland said sadly. There are no heroes in real life. Then explain why he brought us to his ship, Nari argued. Explain why he gave you medicine and food. What does he gain from this? Hyland had no answer. She looked at Daewon with confusion and fear and something else, hope. Dangerous, painful hope. Where are you going? She asked. Where is your ship heading? To New Jeju Colony, Daewon said. It is a human world on the frontier. They accept refugees. They do not care what the Kryn Empire thinks. I have heard of this place, Hyland said slowly. Other refugees speak of it like a dream. A place where everyone is welcome. But it is just a story. It cannot be real. It is real, Daewon assured her. I was born there. It is my home. And if you come with me, it can be your home too. Taeyang looked up at his mother with big, hopeful eyes. Can we go, Mama, please? I am so hungry all the time, and I am tired of being scared. Hyland closed her eyes. Tears ran down her blue cheeks. She was fighting with herself. Part of her wanted to believe. Part of her was too afraid to hope. What if you are lying? She whispered. What if this is a trap? Then you are no worse off than you are now. Daewon said honestly. Right now you have 5 days before the station throws you out. Then what? Where will you go? At least with me you have a chance. He stood up and walked to the door. I am not going to force you to come. You can think about it. But I leave in 2 days when my ship is repaired. If you want to come, be here before then. Wait, Hyland called out. Daewon turned back. We will come, she said. We have nothing left to lose. And maybe Nari is right. Maybe humans really are different. Daewon nodded. Get some rest. Both of you children too. There is a small room across the hall. You can sleep there. I will bring you more food in a few hours. As he left the medical room, he heard Nari say to her mother, See, Mama, I told you he was good. Daewon walked to the cockpit and sat in his pilot chair. He looked out at the dark station through the window. What had he just done? He had just agreed to take 3 refugees across dangerous space to his homeworld. He barely knew them. He had no idea if this was a good decision, but when he thought about leaving them behind to die, he knew he had made the only choice he could live with. He was human. And humans did not abandon people who needed help, even when it was hard. Even when it was risky, even when it made no sense, that was just who they were. 2 days later, the ship left Station Vel 9. Daewon sat in the pilot seat and set the course for New Jeju Colony. The journey would take 3 weeks through space. It was a long time to be trapped in a small ship with 3 strangers. Hyland and her children stood behind him, watching the station disappear. None of them said anything. They just watched until the station was a tiny dot in the blackness. You should rest, Daewon said. The sleeping quarters are small but comfortable. There are 2 beds. The children can share one. Where will you sleep? Hyland asked. I usually sleep in the cockpit. I am used to it. That is not right. You should have a bed. I can sleep in the cockpit. No, Daewon said firmly. You are still recovering. You need proper rest. No arguments, Hyland wanted to protest. He could see it on her face. But she was too tired to fight. She nodded and took the children to the back of the ship. For the first few days, everything was quiet. Hyland spent most of her time sleeping. Her body needed to heal. The children were shy and scared. They stayed in their room unless they needed to use the bathroom or eat. Daewon gave them food from the ship's supply. Simple things, rice, vegetables, protein bars. The first time he served them a full meal, Taeyang started crying. Why are you crying? Daewon asked, worried he had done something wrong. There is so much food, the little boy sobbed. So much. Is this all for us? Yes, eat as much as you want. The children ate slowly, savoring every bite. They ate like people who had forgotten what a full stomach felt like. It broke Daewon's heart to watch. Yelan ate too, but she kept trying to save half her food. For later, she said. In case there is no food tomorrow. There will be food tomorrow, Daewon promised. And the day after. And every day until we reach New Jeju. You do not need to save it. She did not believe him at first, but after 3 days of regular meals, she started to relax. The glow came back to her blue skin. Her movements became less weak and shaky. On the 5th day, Daewon found Hyland cleaning the kitchen. She was scrubbing the counter with intense focus. What are you doing? He asked. Cleaning. Earning my place here. I told you you do not need to. I need to do something. Hyland interrupted. I cannot just take your food and your space and give nothing back. It is not right, Daewon sighed. Fine, but you do not have to clean everything. Just keep your room tidy and help with the dishes after meals. That is enough, Hyland nodded. It was a compromise she could accept. The children started coming out of their room more often. Nari was curious about everything. She asked endless questions about the ship, about space, about humans, about New Jeju. What is New Jeju like? She asked one morning while eating breakfast. It is beautiful, Daewon said. There are forests and mountains. Clean water. Fresh air. The cities are small but growing. Are there other Veltari there? Some. There are refugees from many species. Everyone lives together peacefully. Nari's eyes went wide. Really? Different species living together? How? Humans believe everyone deserves a chance, Daewon explained. It does not matter where you come from or what you look like. If you are willing to work and follow the laws, you are welcome. That sounds like heaven, Nari whispered. Taeyang was shyer than his sister. He rarely spoke. But Daewon noticed the boy watching him constantly, following his movements with big, cautious eyes. One evening, Daewon was in the cockpit checking the navigation. He felt a small hand touch his arm. He looked down and saw Taeyang standing there. "Hello," Daewon said gently. The boy did not speak. He just stood there, his three-fingered hand resting on Daewon's arm. "Do you need something?" Daewon asked. Taeyang shook his head. Then very slowly he climbed up into Daewon's lap. He curled up there like a small animal seeking warmth. Daewon froze.
He did not know what to do.
The boy weighed almost nothing. He could feel Taeyang's heart beating fast like a frightened bird. "Are you okay?" Daewon asked softly. "I had a nightmare," Taeyang whispered. "About the bad soldiers. The ones who killed Papa. I am sorry. That must be scary." "You make me feel safe," the boy said. "You smell like Papa did. Like metal and soap." "I miss Papa." Daewon felt his throat tighten. He carefully put one arm around the small boy. "Your Papa sounds like he was a good man. He was the best. He used to carry me like this when I was scared. He would tell me stories about brave heroes who fought monsters. Would you like me to tell you a story?" Taeyang nodded against Daewon's chest, so Daewon told him a story. One his own father had told him when he was young. About a brave explorer who traveled to distant stars and helped people in need. Taeyang listened quietly until he fell asleep. Hylan appeared in the doorway. She had been looking for her son. When she saw him sleeping in Daewon's lap, her expression became complicated. Sad and grateful at the same time. "I am sorry," she said quietly. "He should not bother you." "He is not bothering me," Daewon said. "He had a nightmare. He has them often. About the invasion. About his father. I cannot imagine what they have been through." Hylan came closer. She gently stroked her son's hair. When Minho died, Taeyang stopped talking for a month. He just stopped. I thought I had lost him too. Nari finally got him to speak again by singing his favorite song every night. They are strong children. They have to be. The universe does not care about weak children. It eats them alive. Daewon looked at her. "Is that what you really believe? That the universe is cruel?" "Yes, everything I have seen proves it. But you are still here. Still fighting. Still trying to save your children. That is not weakness. That is the strongest thing anyone can do." Hylan was quiet for a long moment. "Why are you so kind to us?" "I still do not understand. You gain nothing from this. I gain the knowledge that I helped someone who needed it. That is enough. That is a very human answer." "I suppose it is." She carefully picked up Taeyang from Daewon's lap. The boy stirred but did not wake. "Thank you," she said. "For everything. For the food. For the safety. For being patient with my children. You do not need to thank me." "Yes, I do. Because you have given us something I thought we had lost forever. Hope." She carried Taeyang back to the sleeping quarters. Daewon sat alone in the cockpit thinking about her words. The next week passed more smoothly. The children became more comfortable on the ship. Nari discovered the ship's computer and started learning basic Korean. She was incredibly smart. She picked up new words after hearing them only once or twice. "How do you say thank you in human language?" she asked one day. "Gamsahamnida," Daewon said. "Gamsahamnida," Nari repeated slowly. "What does family mean in your language?" "Gajok, gajok," she whispered, testing the word. "Do you have a gajok, Daewon?" "My parents live on New Jeju. My father is a farmer. My mother is a teacher." "Will they be angry that you are bringing us?" "No, they will welcome you. My mother loves children. She will spoil you both terribly." Nari smiled. It was the first real smile Daewon had seen from her. "I would like that." Hylan started cooking meals for everyone. She used the ship's supplies to make Veltari dishes. The food was different from what Daewon was used to. Sweeter, with more spices, but it was good. "This is delicious," he said one evening. "It is nothing special. Just basic refugee food. If I had proper ingredients, I could make much better dishes. It is still very good." "Where did you learn to cook?" "My mother taught me. She was a chef before." Hylan trailed off. She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. They ate together in the small kitchen. Nari chattered about what she had learned that day. Taeyang ate quietly, but he smiled more now. Sometimes he even laughed at his sister's jokes. It felt like a family. Daewon had not expected that. He had thought this would be 3 weeks of awkwardness and tension. Instead, it felt natural, comfortable. On the 15th day, Nari asked him a serious question. "Daewon, when we get to New Jeju, where will we live?" "There is a refugee center. They will give you a place to stay while you get settled. Will you still visit us? The question surprised him. Do you want me to visit? Yes, very much. You are our friend now. Right, Taeyang? The little boy nodded enthusiastically. Daewon felt warmth spread through his chest. Then yes, I will visit. I promise, Hylan looked down at her plate. She did not say anything, but Daewon saw her wipe her eyes quickly. Only one more week until they reached New Jeju. One more week until these refugees could start a new life. One more week until Daewon could return to his normal routine. But somehow the thought of going back to being alone did not appeal to him anymore. He had gotten used to the children's laughter, to Hylan's cooking, to having people to talk to during the long nights in space. He had gotten used to having a family, even if it was only temporary. The alarm screamed through the ship. Daewon jumped out of his seat and ran to the cockpit. The display screen showed 3 ships closing in fast. Their hull markings were clear even from this distance. Kryn pirates. No, Daewon muttered. He had chosen this route specifically to avoid pirate territory. But somehow they had found him anyway. Hylan rushed into the cockpit, her face pale. What is happening? Pirates. Kryn ships. They are intercepting us. Can we outrun them? No, they are faster. Daewon's fingers flew over the controls. Get the children. Go to the storage room at the back of the ship. There is a small compartment behind the spare parts. Hide there. What about you? I will handle this. Go now. Hylan hesitated for only a second. Then she ran to get her children. Daewon heard her urgent whispers and the sound of small feet running. The communication panel lit up. A harsh voice came through the speakers. Human vessel. This is Commander Velcros of the Kryn Patrol. Cut your engines and prepare to be boarded. Daewon did not respond. He was too busy checking his ship's systems. The Seongnam's Hope looked like a simple cargo ship from the outside. That was intentional. But underneath the plain exterior, it had modifications, weapons, shields, things that most civilian ships did not carry. Human ships on the frontier learned quickly. The universe was dangerous. Only the prepared survived. Human, we know you have Veltari refugees on board, the voice continued. We detected their biosignatures when you left Station Vel 9. Surrender them and you may leave unharmed. Resist and we will destroy your ship. Daewon's jaw clenched. So they had been tracking him since the station. Probably paid someone there to report any ships taking Veltari refugees. I repeat, surrender the Veltari or... Daewon opened the communication channel. This is the Seongnam's Hope. I have no refugees on board. Your scanners are wrong. I am just a cargo hauler on my way home. Velcros laughed. It was a cruel sound. Do not lie to me, human. We have been following you for 2 days. We know exactly who is on your ship. A female and 2 children. The Kryn Empire has a standing order to capture all Veltari refugees, dead or alive, preferably dead. They are not refugees. They are my family. Liar. Humans do not breed with Veltari. Now stop your engines or I will open fire. Daewon looked at his weapons display. 3 pirate ships against 1 cargo vessel. Bad odds, but not impossible. I am giving you one last chance, Velcro said. Surrender now, and Daewon cut the communication and hit the throttle. The ship surged forward at maximum speed. It would not outrun the pirates, but it might buy him time to reach the asteroid field ahead. If he could get there, he would have cover. Laser fire streaked past the ship. The pirates were shooting, not to destroy but to disable. They wanted the ship intact so they could take the Veltari alive. Sorry, Daewon said to himself, but you picked the wrong human to threaten. He activated the ship's defense systems. Hidden panels opened on the hull. Guns extended from concealed compartments. The shield generator hummed to life. The pirates did not expect that. Their next laser shots hit the shields and scattered harmlessly. What the? Velcro sounded shocked. That is a military-grade shield. How does a cargo ship have? Daewon did not let him finish. He targeted the closest pirate ship and fired. The guns were small compared to military vessels, but they packed enough punch. The shot hit the pirate ship's engine. It exploded in a ball of fire. The other 2 pirate ships broke formation. They had thought this would be easy. They were wrong. You will die for that, human. Velcro screamed over the communication channel. Daewon did not respond. He was too busy flying. The asteroid field was close now. Just a few more seconds, laser fire hammered against his shields. The ship shook from the impacts. Warning lights flashed on the console. Shields at 60%, 50%, 40%. He made it into the asteroid field just as the shields hit 30%. Immediately, he dove behind a large asteroid. The pirates followed, but now they had to be more careful. Crashing into an asteroid at high speed meant death. Daewon knew this field. He had flown through it dozens of times on his trade routes. Every path, every hiding spot, every dangerous obstacle, the pirates did not know it. That gave him an advantage. He cut his engines and drifted behind an asteroid. His ship's hull was dark gray, designed to blend in with space debris. The pirates lost visual contact. Where did he go? He heard one of the pirates ask over an open channel. Find him. He cannot have gone far. Daewon waited. Patience was important. He watched the sensors as the two pirate ships split up, searching different sections of the field. When one of them came close to his position, he struck. Full power to the engines, rapid acceleration toward the pirate ship. He flew past it so close that their hulls almost touched. As he passed, he fired at point-blank range. The shots tore through the pirate's shield and punched holes in their hull. Air vented into space. The ship spun out of control. One ship left. You coward, Velcro shouted. Face me directly instead of hiding like a rat. Daewon found a position with a clear view of the area. He cut engines again and waited. Velcros was angry now. Angry people made mistakes. Daewon just had to be patient. The last pirate ship came into view, moving fast, searching aggressively. Too fast for the asteroid field. Velcros was so focused on finding Daewon that he did not notice the large asteroid directly in his path until too late. He tried to turn, but at that speed, it was impossible. The ship clipped the asteroid and went into a spin. Velcros managed to regain some control, but his ship was damaged. Badly. Daewon moved in. He positioned his ship behind the wounded pirate vessel and locked weapons. Velcros, he said over the communication channel. You have two choices. Run away now or die here. Choose. You cannot defeat the Kryn Empire, human. I did not ask for threats. I asked you to choose. Run or die. There was a long silence. Then Velcros's ship turned and limped away. Damaged and defeated, Daewon watched until it was gone. Only then did he allow himself to breathe. His hands were shaking. The adrenaline was wearing off. He had not been in a real fight in years. He had forgotten how terrifying it was. The cockpit door opened. Hyland stood there, her eyes wide with shock. Is it over? She whispered. Yes, they are gone. You destroyed them. I watched on the security monitors. You fought 3 ships alone and won. I got lucky, and they underestimated me. Hyland walked closer. Her forearms were trembling. They wanted to kill us. I heard what that commander said. They were going to take us and kill us. I would not have let that happen. But why? Why would you fight for us? Why would you risk your life? We are nothing to you. Just refugees. Just strangers. Daewon stood up and faced her. You are not nothing. You are people. People under my protection. And I protect what is mine. But we are not yours. You said so yourself. You said you did not want us as servants or... I was wrong. Daewon interrupted. Or maybe I was right then, but things have changed. I do not know. What I do know is that when that pirate threatened you and the children, I wanted to kill him. Not just fight him, kill him. Because you are on my ship. Because you trust me to keep you safe. Because... He stopped. He did not know how to finish that sentence. Nari and Taeyang appeared behind their mother. They had been hiding like Daewon told them to. Are the bad people gone? Taeyang asked in a small voice. Yes, they are gone. The little boy ran to Daewon and hugged his leg. You saved us. You are a hero. I am not a hero. I just did what needed to be done. Nari looked at him with serious eyes. Teacher Sora was right. Humans are scary when they fight. I saw what you did to those ships. You were like a monster, but a good monster, one that protects instead of hurts. Hyland was crying. Silent tears ran down her blue cheeks. I do not understand you. I do not understand any humans. You should have given us to the pirates. You should have saved yourself. But instead you fought. You risked everything for us. Why? Please tell me why. Daewon knelt down so he was at eye level with her, because that is what humans do. We do not abandon people. We do not sacrifice the weak to save ourselves. We fight even when the odds are bad, even when it would be easier to run. We fight because it is the right thing to do. The right thing, Hyland repeated. Such strange words. In Veltari culture we have no concept like that. We have survival and death, That is all. Then maybe you need to learn a new way of thinking. She laughed through her tears. Maybe I do. Daewon checked the ship's systems. Some damage from the laser fire, but nothing critical. The shields were recharging. The engines were fine. They could continue to New Jeju without problems. Everyone okay? He asked. Nobody hurt? We are fine, Nari said. You kept us safe. Good. Then let us get out of this asteroid field and back on course. We still have a week of travel left. As the ship moved away from the battlefield, Hyland stayed in the cockpit. She watched Daewon work, her expression thoughtful. What you said before, she began, about us being yours. What did you mean? Daewon did not look at her. He kept his eyes on the navigation display. I'm not sure. I spoke without thinking. But you meant it. I could tell. He was quiet for a moment. Maybe I am starting to think of you as more than just refugees I am helping. Maybe I am starting to think of you as, I do not know, people I care about. That is dangerous. Caring for people. Yes, but not caring is worse, Hyland smiled. Small and sad and genuine. You are a strange human, Daewon. Over the planet appeared in the view screen like a blue and green jewel. New Jeju colony. After 3 weeks in space, they had finally arrived. Is that it? Nari pressed her face against the window. Is that our new home? Yes, Daewon said. He felt a warm happiness seeing his home planet again. That is New Jeju. It is beautiful, Hyland whispered. She held Taeyang in her arms so he could see too. I have never seen a planet that looked so alive. The colony has worked hard to terraform it properly. Clean oceans, breathable atmosphere, forests and mountains. It is as close to Earth as we could make it. The ship entered the atmosphere smoothly. Through the clouds they could see the landscape below. Green forests stretched for miles. Rivers sparkled in the sunlight. Cities dotted the terrain, small but modern. There are so many trees, Taeyang said in wonder. I have never seen a real tree before. Only pictures. You will see many trees here, Daewon promised. And you can touch them. Climb them if you want. The boy's eyes went wide with excitement. They landed at the main spaceport just outside the capital city. The landing pad was busy with ships coming and going. Humans and various alien species moved about, loading cargo, greeting passengers, conducting business. Everyone looked so normal, Nari observed. They are not scared. They are not hiding. Why would they be scared? Daewon asked. Because this is what life is supposed to be like. I had forgotten. They gathered their few belongings. Hyland and the children had almost nothing. Just the clothes on their backs and a small bag with a few personal items. As they walked down the ship's ramp, Hyland grabbed Daewon's arm. Wait, I am scared. Why? You are safe here. What if they do not want us? What if they send us away? Daewon put his hand over hers. They will not send you away. Trust me. They walked through the spaceport together. Many people looked at them with curiosity. Veltari were rare here, though not unheard of. But nobody stared with hostility. Nobody looked afraid or angry. A few people even smiled and nodded politely. Daewon led them to the Refugee Assistance Center. It was a large building near the spaceport, designed specifically to help newcomers settle into colony life. Inside, the center was clean and welcoming. Comfortable chairs, information displays in multiple languages, children's toys in one corner, a small cafeteria offering free meals. A woman approached them. She was human, middle-aged, with kind eyes and gray hair tied in a neat bun. Daewon.
Welcome home.
She hugged him warmly. And who are these lovely people? Bora, this is Hyland and her children, Nari and Taeyang. They are Veltari refugees from Station Vel 9. They need assistance getting settled. Bora's expression became serious and professional. She knelt down to be at eye level with the children. Hello, Nari and Taeyang. My name is Bora. I run this center. We are going to help you and your mother start a new life here. Does that sound good? Nari nodded shyly. Taeyang hid behind his mother's legs. Bora stood and addressed Hyland. Let me explain what we offer. First, we will provide you with temporary housing, a small apartment in the residential district. Free for the first 6 months while you get on your feet. We will also give you food vouchers, clothing, and basic supplies. Hyland's eyes filled with tears. All of this for free? Yes. New Jeju Colony believes everyone deserves a chance to start over. We do not charge refugees for basic necessities, but why? What do you gain from this? Bora smiled. We gain good people who will contribute to our society. We gain diversity and new perspectives. We gain the knowledge that we did the right thing. Is that not enough? Hyland could not speak. She just nodded, tears streaming down her face. Come, Bora said gently. Let me show you the apartment. It is not large, but it is clean and safe. You will have your own space. They followed Bora through the city streets. The residential district was quiet and peaceful. Trees lined the sidewalks. Children played in parks. People sat at outdoor cafes, talking and laughing. It looked like a normal city. A normal life. Something Hyland and her children had not experienced in months. The apartment was on the 3rd floor of a modest building. 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen, a bathroom, and a living area. Simple furniture. Clean walls. A window that looked out over a small garden. The children can share 1 bedroom, Bora explained. You will have the other. The kitchen is fully stocked with basic supplies. If you need anything else, just ask at the center. Nari ran to the window and looked out. Mama, there is a playground down there.
Can we go play?
After we settle in, Hyland said. But she was smiling. Really smiling. Taeyang found a toy shuttle ship on a shelf. He picked it up carefully as if afraid it would break. Is this ours? Can I play with it? Of course, Bora said. Everything here is for you. The boy hugged the toy to his chest, his face full of joy. Bora turned to Daewon. Will you stay for dinner? I am sure your family would like that. They are not my... Daewon started, but then he stopped. Were they his family? He did not know anymore. Yes, I will stay. That evening, they ate together at the small kitchen table. Bora had brought food from the center. Real vegetables. Fresh bread, fruit, meat. The children ate eagerly, talking between bites about all the things they wanted to see and do. Can we really go outside whenever we want? Taeyang asked. Yes, Daewon said. As long as your mother knows where you are, and we can go to school? Nari added. Yes, there is a good school nearby. They teach human and alien children together. I want to learn everything, Nari declared. I want to be a scientist like Papa was. Hyland reached over and stroked her daughter's hair. You will be. I promise. After dinner, Bora left with instructions for Hyland to visit the center tomorrow for more orientation and paperwork. Daewon prepared to leave as well. Where are you going? Taeyang asked, looking worried. To my parents' house. I have been away for a long time. They will want to see me. Will you come back? Of course. I will visit tomorrow. I promise, but when he reached the door, Hyland stopped him. Daewon, wait. He turned back. She stood there, her forearms folded nervously. I need to say something. I need to say thank you. Really thank you. Not just for bringing us here, but for treating us like people. Like we mattered. You gave us hope when we had none. You risked your life for us. I do not know how to repay what you do not need to repay anything, but I do. In my culture, such a debt is... You are not in your culture anymore, Daewon said gently. You are here, in a place where people help each other because it is right, not because they expect payment. Hyland smiled through her tears. I am starting to understand that. But still, thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Daewon nodded. You are welcome. Now get some rest. You have a big day tomorrow. New life, new challenges, Daewon. Nari called from the bedroom doorway. Will you really visit tomorrow? I promise. Good, because we are your family now. Right? The question hung in the air. Everyone waited for his answer. Yes, Daewon said finally. I suppose you are. He left the apartment and walked through the quiet streets. The night air was cool and fresh. Stars shone overhead. He felt lighter than he had in years. When he reached his parents' house, his mother opened the door before he could knock. Daewon, my son, she hugged him tightly. You have been gone too long. His father appeared behind her. Let the boy breathe, Jiwon. Welcome home, son. They pulled him inside. The house smelled like his mother's cooking, familiar and comforting. Over dinner, he told them about his journey, about finding Hyland and the children at the station, about the pirate attack, about everything. His mother cried when he described the children's hunger. His father looked proud when he heard how Daewon had fought off the pirates. You did good, son, his father said. You did what any decent human would do. I think I care about them, Daewon admitted. More than I expected to. His mother smiled knowingly. Of course you do. You have a good heart. Like your father. What do I do now? What do you mean? They will be settled here soon. They will not need my help anymore. Should I just go back to my hauling routes? Pretend nothing has changed? His mother reached across the table and took his hand. Do you want to go back to being alone? No, but I do not know what I want. Then take your time. Figure it out. There is no rush. Life is not about having all the answers. It is about being there for the people who matter. That night, Daewon lay in his childhood bed staring at the ceiling. He thought about Hyland's smile, about Nari's curiosity, about Taeyang's small hand holding his. He thought about what it meant to have a family, not by blood, not by tradition, but by choice, by caring, by protecting, by being there. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was everything. He fell asleep thinking about tomorrow, about visiting the apartment, about seeing the children play in the park, about helping Hyland adjust to her new life, about being part of something bigger than himself, about being family. 1 year passed like water flowing down a stream. Hyland stood in the botanical research facility, carefully examining a new plant hybrid. Her job was perfect for her. She used the scientific knowledge her late husband had taught her. She helped develop crops that could grow in difficult conditions, crops that could feed refugees on harsh worlds. She was good at her work. Her supervisor had already promoted her once. Other scientists respected her opinions. She had found her place. The children were thriving too. Nari was at the top of her class in school. She loved science and mathematics. She asked questions constantly, much to her teacher's delight and exhaustion. She had friends now, human children and alien children. They played together after school, rode bicycles through the parks, traded stories about their different worlds. Taeyang had changed the most. The shy, silent boy had become cheerful and talkative. He loved art class. He drew pictures constantly. Pictures of his new home, pictures of his family, pictures of spaceships and stars. The nightmares came less often now. When they did, Hyland would hold him and sing the old Veltari lullabies until he fell back asleep. They had a life here, a real life. Hyland had also received attention from others. A Veltari scientist named Junho worked at her facility. He was kind and intelligent. He had asked her to have coffee with him 3 times. Each time she had politely declined. A human man named Taejin who worked at the library had also expressed interest. He was gentle and patient, good with children. But Hyland had turned him down too. She told herself it was too soon. She was still healing from losing Minho. She needed to focus on her children and her work, but that was not the whole truth. The truth was more complicated. Daewon visited regularly. At first he came every day, then every few days. Now he visited about twice a week. He brought small gifts for the children, books for Nari, art supplies for Taeyang, fresh fruit from his parents' farm for Hyland. They would eat dinner together, talk about their days. The children would show him their schoolwork. Hyland would share stories about her research. It felt natural. It felt right, but Daewon never stayed too long. He never crossed certain boundaries. He treated Hyland with respect and care, but always maintained a small distance. Hyland understood why. He did not want to take advantage. He did not want her to feel obligated because he had saved her life. It was noble. It was kind. It was also frustrating. Because somewhere during the past year, Hyland had fallen in love with him. She could not say exactly when it happened. Maybe it was when she saw him fight the pirates, risking everything to protect them. Maybe it was during the quiet evenings on the ship, when he told stories to Taeyang. Maybe it was when he first showed her New Jeju and said, "This can be your home." Or maybe it was the accumulation of 1,000 small kindnesses. The way he remembered Nari preferred her tea sweet. The way he always asked about Hyland's work and actually listened to the answers. The way he played with the children without being asked. The way he looked at her sometimes when he thought she was not watching. She loved him, but she did not know if he loved her back, and she did not know how to ask. The annual colony festival arrived. It was a celebration of New Jeju's founding. Everyone in the colony participated. There would be food, music, dancing, games for children. "You are coming, right?" Nari asked Daewon during one of his visits. "I do not know. Festivals are not really my thing, please." "Everyone will be there. It will be fun." Taeyang joined in. "Please, Daewon." "Please?" he laughed. All right. I will come." The children cheered. The festival was held in the Central Park. Hundreds of people gathered. Humans, Veltari, and dozens of other species, all living together peacefully. All celebrating together. Hylan wore a new dress. It was simple but pretty. Blue like her skin with silver thread woven through it. A Veltari tailor in the colony had made it for her. When Daewon saw her, his eyes widened slightly. "You look beautiful." She felt her skin flush darker blue. "Thank you." The children ran off to play games with their friends. Hylan and Daewon walked through the festival together. They watched a traditional Korean dance performance. They ate skewered meat from a food stall. They listened to a band playing music that mixed human and alien instruments in interesting ways. "Are you happy here?" Daewon asked as they walked. "Yes, very happy. This place, it is more than I ever dreamed possible." "I am glad." "I have been thinking about what you told me on the ship," Hylan said, "about humans and their strange kindness. I understand it better now. This whole colony is built on that principle, everyone helping everyone else. It is remarkable. It is just how we choose to live." They found a quiet spot under a large tree. They sat on the grass and watched the festival activities. "Junho asked me out again yesterday," Hylan said suddenly. Daewon was quiet for a moment. "What did you say?" "I said no. Like always." "Why?" "He seems like a good man." "He is, but—" Hylan hesitated. "I do not feel anything for him." "Maybe that will come with time." She looked at him directly. "Maybe I do not want it to come. Maybe my heart has already made its choice." Daewon met her eyes. "Hylan, I know what you are thinking," she interrupted. "You think I am confused. You think I am grateful to you for saving us and I am mistaking gratitude for something else. But you are wrong, am I? Yes, I was grateful to you a year ago. I was desperate a year ago. But I am neither of those things now. I have a good job, a home, independence. I do not need you anymore, Daewon. But I want you. There is a difference." Daewon looked away. "You barely knew your husband for 2 years before he died. You loved him. How can you be sure what you feel for me is real and not just filling an empty space? Minho was my first love. He will always be in my heart. But he is gone. I grieved for him. I still honor his memory. But I am not dead. My life is not over." She reached out and took his hand. "You are not a replacement for him. You are something different, someone I choose with full knowledge and free will. This time I am not desperate. I am not begging. I am asking. Asking what? If you feel the same way. If these past months have meant the same to you as they have to me. If when you visit it is because you want to see me, not just the children." Daewon squeezed her hand. "I am afraid." "Of what?" "Of being a replacement. Of you waking up one day and realizing you do not actually want me. Of ruining what we have now by wanting more." Hylan smiled sadly. "Those are all good fears. Reasonable fears. But you know what I am afraid of? I am afraid of wasting time, of being too cautious, of letting happiness slip away because I am too scared to reach for it." They sat in silence for a while. Children's laughter echoed across the park. Music played. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. "Do you remember what I asked you that first day on Station Vel 9? Hylan said quietly. "You asked me to let you be my wife." "Yes, and you said no." "You were right to say no. I was not in my right mind. I was desperate and broken. But I would like to ask again." Properly this time, she stood up and faced him. "Daewon, I am not a desperate widow anymore. I am Hylan, a scientist, a mother, a woman who has rebuilt her life. And I am choosing you, not because I have to, but because I want to. Will you accept me? Will you let yourself be part of this family we have built?" Daewon stood as well. He looked at her for a long moment. She could see the conflict in his eyes. The fear, the hope, the desire. "I do not know if I can be what you need," he said honestly. "I do not need you to be anything except yourself. The man who saved us, the man who visits us, the man who plays with my children and listens to my stories about plant genetics even though he finds it boring." "I do not find it boring," he protested. She laughed. "Liar," he smiled. Then his expression became serious. "I think I have been in love with you for months. Maybe since the ship. Maybe longer. But I was too afraid to admit it. And now? Now I am still afraid. But I am tired of being alone. Tired of pretending that visiting twice a week is enough. Tired of lying to myself about what I want. What do you want? You, the children. A life together. All of it." Hylan felt tears in her eyes. Happy tears this time. "Then let us have it. Let us stop being afraid and just live." Daewon pulled her close. For the first time he kissed her. It was gentle and sweet and full of promise. When they broke apart, they saw Nari and Taeyang watching from behind a nearby tree. The children were grinning. "Finally," Nari shouted. "We have been waiting for you two to figure it out." They ran over and threw themselves at Daewon and Hylan. All four of them stood there in a group hug, laughing and crying at the same time. "Does this mean Daewon is our papa now?" Taeyang asked. "If he wants to be," Hylan said. "Do you want to be our papa?" Nari asked seriously. Daewon knelt down to their level. "I would be honored. But you should know, I will never try to replace your first father. Mina will always be your papa too." "We know," Nari said. "Teacher Bora told us humans believe you can love more than one person. That love does not run out. Is that true?" "Yes, that is true. Then we can have two papas, one in our hearts and one here with us." "Exactly." Taeyang hugged Daewon tightly. "I am so happy. I asked for this every night when I looked at the stars. I asked for you to be our family forever." Hylan wiped her eyes. It seems the universe finally listened. They stayed at the festival until late. They danced together. They ate too much sweet food. They laughed until their faces hurt. Bora found them as the festival was ending. She smiled knowingly. So, 2 years after the festival, everything had changed and nothing had changed. The apartment was bigger now. Daewon had moved in permanently a year ago. They needed more space for the growing family. 3 bedrooms instead of 2. A larger living area. A balcony where they could watch the sunset together. Nari was 13 now. She was tall for her age, taking after her mother. She still loved science, but now she was also interested in engineering. She spent hours watching videos about spaceship design. She talked constantly about attending the colony's technical university when she was old enough. "I am going to build the fastest ship in the galaxy," she declared at breakfast one morning. "That is a big goal," Daewon said. "So, you always say humans dream big." "That is true." "All right then. Build the fastest ship. I believe you can do it." Nari grinned and went back to her breakfast. Taeyang was 10 now. The shy little boy had become an artist. He drew and painted everything. The walls of his room were covered with his artwork. Landscapes of New Jeju, portraits of his family, alien creatures he invented from his imagination. The Colony Art Center had displayed some of his work. People actually bought his paintings, not because they felt sorry for a refugee child, but because his art was genuinely good. "Papa, can you take me to the mountains this weekend?" Taeyang asked. "I want to paint the waterfall." "Papa." The word still made Daewon's heart warm every time he heard it. "Of course. We can make a day trip. Bring supplies and have a picnic. Can I come too?" Nari asked. "I finished my homework already. Everyone can come. It will be a family trip." Hylan looked up from her tablet where she was reading a scientific paper. "I would love that. I've been working too much lately. I need fresh air." She was not just a research assistant anymore. She was the head of the Agricultural Development Department. Her team had created 3 new crop varieties that were now being used on refugee colonies across the sector. She had published papers. She had given lectures. She was respected, valued, successful. But more importantly, she was happy. Daewon had also changed his work. He still owned the Seongnam's Hope, but he did not do long cargo runs anymore. Instead, he had started a cooperative with other pilots. They transported supplies and helped rescue refugee ships. They brought people to safety just like he had brought Hylan and her children. It was dangerous work. But it was meaningful work. "How many refugees did you bring in this month?" Hylan asked during dinner that evening. 47. 2 families from the war zone in the Koresh sector. 1 group of scientists fleeing persecution. Some orphaned children. Where are the orphans staying? The children's home. But Bora is looking for families to take them in. Hylan and Daewon looked at each other. They had this conversation before. "Several times. We have room," Hylan said carefully. "We do. And the children have been asking." "They have." "So," Daewon smiled. "Let us go talk to Bora tomorrow." 3 weeks later, 2 new children joined their family. A human boy named Minjae, age 7, whose parents had died in a mining accident, and an alien girl named Hana from the Rillian species, age 6, whose entire family had been killed in the war. Minjae was quiet and grieving. He did not cry, but he did not smile either. He just existed, moving through each day like a ghost. Hana was different. She had large golden eyes and copper-colored skin. She talked constantly. She asked endless questions. She attached herself to Taeyang immediately, following him everywhere. "Why do you paint?" she asked, watching him work. "Because it makes me happy." "Do you want to try?" "Yes." Taeyang gave her paper and paints. She created something that looked like colorful chaos. But she was so proud of it that they hung it on the refrigerator with magnets. Minjae was harder to reach. He stayed in his room most of the time. He barely ate. When Daewon tried to talk to him, the boy just nodded without really responding. "Give him time," Hyland said. "He is where Taeyang was when we first arrived. Lost and scared and trying to survive. How do I help him? Just be there consistently. That is what